Hello everyone, this is Direfon here once again, bringing you another update to Apacies. So this is point 9, so there's lots of more feature updates. I do have planned some visual updates planned every 0.01, like 0.81, 0.71, but mechanical ones today, which ends up taking a lot of work, but I think it brings a good amount of life to the game. So, if we come to Route 86, this strange piece of road is gone, because it is now a mechanic. Let's get an Apacies to follow us and lay down a trap, and they're stuck there. There is no limit to this, so you can keep Apacies there and they end up being trapped as long as you're in that route. But another thing is, some Apacies, they run away from you. It's all dependent upon personality. So if they're shy or timid, and maybe you want to go after that type of personality, it will be a little harder. But it's just another way for you to try and guess what each Apacies are like. And then the trap is just kind of fun as it is. So aside from that, we have something a little special. Dreamcatchers. I did end up having to completely break the name generation. Or name writing in, so I'll have to fix that next update. But as it stands, you don't have to get a Dreamcatcher for every mon that you want. Dreamcatchers will always be there. I didn't want it to be so much like Pokemon, so you're always able to catch. There is a defined limit that you have to overcome, so higher level Apacies or Apacies that have evolved, they are harder to catch. That wasn't the case before, it was always a guaranteed, but now it is harder to catch if they are higher leveled, which there won't be that many because I still have to work on level generation of overworld, which I'll go ahead and write that down. I don't think I'm going to have items in this game, but you will have upgradable stuff. So the Dreamcatcher can be upgraded, and I plan to do that in a side quest so that you don't have to if you don't want to. Same with bait. So I reworked bait so that it works a little bit differently. I had a few ideas, but this is what I ended up coming up with. You see, this is around the range where I lose sight of the Apacies. I press B to extend the range of the bait, and as soon as they see me again, it's much harder to lose them. Their sight increases and their speed increases. I can press B again and their sight decreases once again. This one having quite a far sight. There are some Apacies where this gets to be a real pain. I'm pretty sure this is one of them, but as of right now, it's a 1.75 multiplier to both sight and speed, so it's a little bit of a challenge. To activate and deactivate bait is currently B, trap, T, so just going with the base letters of the name. In the settings that I'll work on eventually, I'll explicitly make that and the walking bindable to different things. Oh, another thing. So with the Dreamcatcher mechanic, I did make sure, I'll fix that in post-production, but I did make sure, two things. If you're capturing a creature, that thing just disappeared when you made one move. The other Apacies will want to run away, and the scene will end. And also, instead of being a random chance, if you're encountering multiple Apacies, you can target now. These are both Perko pairs, so I'll go for that one. It did capture, so what should the name be? And now that that one is captured, this one ran away, giving us the default screen that we should just run. And both have disappeared. If we go in our Apacies, there it is. Exciting Perko pair, the Perko pair, because the names are still messed up. And that's what I've been working on. So more capturing mechanics and bait stuff, just so that the overworld is a little bit more interesting, and you have to finagle your way around different things. To me, having an exciting overworld is a big part of what this game could do to stand out from Pokemon. Even the wild zone of Sword and Shield gets very repetitive, and the creatures in there, sometimes they follow you, sometimes they don't. Each one of these, I'm trying to give a distinct personality or distinct look without giving away what Pokemon it is, both for an air of mystery when it comes to what you're trying to capture, and so you don't have a guarantee. But then also making this world seem a little bit more lively rather than, hey, that thing, I'm either curious and I'm gonna walk up slowly, or hey, that thing, I'm gonna chase it. I want there to be some differences where an Apacies can run away from you. Oh, there is one more thing. Again, to make the world a little bit more lively, trainers. Trainers start coming after you now. They don't have animations yet, but they do chase you, which it is a little fun. But instead of pausing the screen and eye contact is established, let's have them run after you kind of hastily. But then depending upon what trainers they are, eventually I want them to have the same mechanics where maybe they would run away. Who knows? As for the future update, well, one thing that I want to bring up just because I think it's interesting and might be fun to try and be kind of a pain. I've thought about adding shinies to this game before, but that seems a little boring, and it might be worth going a little bit extra to have epithets for each Apacies. So instead of a shiny pit fox being red, which I think was the design, it would be the Fool Pit Fox, and inspired by Iggy from JoJo's Stardust Crusaders. Since it's supposed to be a small dog that's somewhat violent, I feel like that would be a good inspiration, and then I can incorporate some of Iggy's designs into Pit Foxes as sort of a reference, and you'd get something more handcrafted rather than change in color palette. Please let me know what you think in the comments, because I'd love to read it, and I'd love to hear some suggestions when it comes to Apacies that you already see. For the next update, there are a few new things that I want to try and get done. I want to make the Apacies overworld sprite more than just that gray disc. I want it to be some sort of mystery, which is probably going to be a circle, but that sprite is from the little platforms that you use when you fight in a battle. Same with traps. Traps need some sort of sprite. So right now it's just a road for being a trap, which is extremely boring. So I want to make that an actual sprite as well, something that fits the world more than a reused sprite of a way past idea of Apacies when it was set in the modern world. This was before Apacies 0.1 release, I believe. I also am thinking about implementing particles, but I've never done that before. Having never done that, that may or may not even happen. It's just going to depend upon my own motivation to get this done, and how well I can adjust to this new mechanic. And lastly, more commission work. There are some more Apacies sprites that I want to get commissioned that aren't good enough in my opinion. Maybe some artists can spice up the designs and make them more interesting. And then also make the very opening more interesting. As of right now, it's very dull. It's one color. I want there to be some animation to make it more interesting. Again, it's going to be a visual update, so I'm looking to make more Apacies, to flush out the world instead of having it be so bland. So a little bit more designs, and hopefully after that it should be a 1.0 release. However, if I don't feel like it's up to snuff, I'll release the following update, not 0.91, but 0.95, before a 1.0 beta. In my opinion, this is still alpha. I'm still working on hardcore mechanics. In beta, I still might add in some mechanics, but it's not so ground level. I'm starting to build up from there. So, wish me luck. If you want to support the project, there's a Patreon that you can support. Also, please just let me know. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, and I'd appreciate every comment. Thank you, and have a good night.